Good morning. Hi, you guys. Oh my goodness. I have my music box on. So I bought this. Can you see him? Let me see. Let me get this out of the way, actually. You can see my haunted doll, but see that little cat back there? When I went to LA with my daughter, I went to this antique store and I follow this guy on YouTube called Justin Scard, and he has a channel for years. He's had it called Random Land, and he has his own little store in there. And so I wanted to go in there and get something, and I didn't intend to get anything like that, but I saw it, and I have just a love for like antique, I don't know, antique dolls and stuff, and they can be quite pricey, but this one was such a good price. I also have a love for old music boxes, so you can hear this. I'm not like a collector of a bunch of music boxes or anything like that, but I don't know. Sometimes it's just special, and this one was special because it was this antique porcelain hand and face velvet, doll that was an antique that also had a music box. So I thought that was super cool. So I had to get that. So I hope you guys are enjoying. I hope you're enjoying these daily love notes from me. It's just my little thoughts about whatever comes up for me that I like to share, and I feel like it's a little more vulnerable than normally. I get into some personal stuff, but I also do some teaching in here too, because that is my life after all. Like, I'm constantly learning, and so I'm constantly teaching and sharing stuff. Yeah, so I'm enjoying having these little moments together, and I intend on Friday to release that on the love letter, so that other people who haven't really seen it yet can have all of them listed there. Of course, episode 5 won't be there because I would not have released it yet. So yeah, so it's fun. I hope you like it. So if you like it, please, hit the like button and let me know that you were there if you listened, because the feedback, I just feel it's important for me to know that I can see that there's views there, they're not huge, but there's views there, and these types of things tend to grow over time if I continue to do it. But it does feel good to have you guys hit like, even if you just visited, even if you didn't, you weren't able to watch the entire thing in one sitting and you were going to go back to it, or even leave me a comment, saying I'm here or something, because I think that's one of the things is, one of you guys commented too, like, we just want to know what we're doing is effective, like we want to know that we're putting out content that matters to people, and that we're not just putting stuff out there to put stuff out there. And so having you guys subscribe and hit that like button, and even leaving me a comment, at minimum, hitting the like button, because then I can look at that and it does register to me that, okay, it meant something to somebody else that I put this stuff out there. Because the worst thing is just putting stuff out there and then you're just met with a dead silence. Because I think what we're all trying to do is build community, right? And why would we be doing that? Like, we try and build community because we want connection with people. I know I do. A lot of the stuff that we do nowadays, we're by ourselves, and we're doing this, right? We're doing video communication, and we're not always in the presence of other people, and we can be a little more reclusive now because everything that we need can be ordered in. I don't order my food in and all that stuff, because it's important for me to have something to go outside for, to get out there and actually have some interactions with real life people, and it always happens when I go out. Even like yesterday, I went to go get gas, and I don't drive that much because like I said, my whole world is here. And a lot of times when I do go out, it's with my husband in his car. And so I do some errands here and there, but I just don't drive that much. I've had like a week where I just never used my car because I didn't need to. So going outside and getting gas, and just the random interactions that you'll have with people. Like I have a sticker on the back of my car that says old people are cool. And the guy's like, I really like that sticker on the back of your car, and I was like, oh, thank you. So it was just like a joyful little moment, like appreciating those joyful little moments where you can connect with people. So it's important to me, to put out stuff and just knowing that people are there, that they're listening, or that they stopped by, and hitting that like button really helps me, because it's like, oh, okay, someone who really cared, because someone can go on for a second, and it'll register as a view, but someone hitting the like button, it means that it meant something to somebody, enough that they were like, okay, it's almost like saying, yeah, I valued this, so they click it. So anyway, that's just me. It makes me feel good when I see that. And then I kind of look at myself. I don't know if you guys do this, but sometimes I think, oh, this is such a great idea. I'm going to do this every day. And I start doing it. And then I go, am I even that interesting enough for people like to want to watch this every day? See, this is like the stuff that I guess that I want to share with you too, is that people have doubts, like even the people that have success, some success in their life, they still have doubts. One of the things that I heard from a spiritual teacher that I really respect, she was on a show, some kind of other show, and someone said, well, when did you stop having doubts? And she's like, never. I still doubt myself all the time. And I think that it's important to be real about that. It's like, these are the things that go through our minds, right? Like we want to put something out there that means something to other people, because we're trying to have connection with other people. And once we start putting ourselves out there, inevitably doubt starts to creep in. Like, why am I even doing this? Am I even interesting enough? It's like all these like things where you start doubting yourself. And so that's one of mine, is I put myself out there, and I'm just kind of talking to you guys, but then, because it's more open, it's not on a particular subject. Like when I'm teaching on Udemy, it's a subject and I'm boom, 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 right? I know this stuff. And when I'm talking to you on the daily love letters, it's different, because I'm just kind of talking. There isn't necessarily any agenda like, okay, we're going to talk about this and I'm going to teach you that skill. It's really just talking to you and sharing some of the things, like my fears, my doubts, stuff like that. And then that thing comes in like, is this even interesting? Like, am I even interesting to other people that they would even want to watch this? So I guess what I'm saying is everybody has doubts, right? So, yeah. So, and then the other thing that just flashed in my mind is just being so appreciative and grateful for family, because, I put out this new course on, otherhood parenting. I'm still trying to play with the title, because you have to think about the tags and using tags that mean something to other people. And most people don't know what otherhood is. And so it's not really going to register. And I do this. I don't know if you guys have noticed, I will keep tweaking titles until I feel like it's right. And, it's that course, the Otherhood Parenting and Conflict Resolution course, I narrowed it down to just parenting and accredited, certified parenting and conflict resolution. But it really is about my experience with learning how to be a parent to adult children, because there was a time where like I just felt like there was conflict all the time, or I felt like they didn't like me. And it was really painful, and when I moved out here, I was having these issues, and I started writing this book called, it ended up being called A Greater Love, because what I realized in the process of me writing was I was thinking it was all about them, and then the more that I was here alone, isolated and in a new place and trying to start over, I realized it was actually about me. And that the title A Greater Love was because I needed to find a greater love for myself. like knowing that I'm valuable and that I don't have to, push or demand love. I just have to love myself and the love will come. Like whoever wants to love me will come. And it took me, writing a book to kind of figure that out and realizing the things, just how I talk to you every day about whatever's on my mind. Well, that's kind of how writing a book is. It's like every day you wake up and you write from your own perspective of what's going on in your life and your thought processes, and that goes into your writing. And so through doing that, I'd have days where I was dealing with issues and realizing that they came from my child rearing. And so it's like the more that I started delving into those things that I had thought I was already done with, it made me realize in the process of writing that book that really it was about me needing to have a greater love for myself, despite who will love me and who won't love me. And then now I'm writing one, and I just wrote some this morning too. Because from really what I learned in that book was that I needed a greater love for myself, and that everything else falls into place when you do that. And the second book is called A Greater Journey, and I'm working on that one right now. These are memoirs, by the way. So they really catalog my pain and everything that I went through, like very vulnerable stuff, very personal. And then this one is just what happens after that. Because you don't stop having conflict in your life. I have a son, and my oldest son, who doesn't speak to me right now, and dealing with that, So it's an ongoing thing, of learning about yourself and just learning how to be open and evolving. Like I talked to my son yesterday, and this is one of the things I did want to talk to you. I'm not going to do a super long video like yesterday's was, but one of the things that I ended up talking with my son and my daughter now, my middle son and my youngest daughter, she's my only daughter, but she's the baby. We talk now, if not every day, every other day. We Zoom or FaceTime. Or not Zoom, it's actually my son and I Google Duo, and my daughter and I FaceTime. And I'm so grateful for that, and I attribute a lot of that because I got out of my own way. I really looked at and this is these are the things that I teach in the parenting and resolving conflict class on Udemy, is really like getting out of your own way, getting out of your old concepts that you don't even necessarily believe. And that's one of the things I realized, because in the old concept, it was like, you have to respect all your elders. You have to, do what they say. You just have to see them as higher than you. And they can be very demanding, and you just have to take it. And that's some of those old concepts. And I just realized, like, gosh, am I being that way? Because I don't really believe in any of those things. Like, I think you respect people who earn your respect, and I think you can't demand people to love you, even when they're your kids, right? You can't demand that, or demand that they respect you. I believe people have to earn it, and I believe that people love you if you're lovable. If and sometimes they don't love you and you are lovable. I mean, that's true too, but nobody's obligated to love you, and that's the thing. So when I got out of my own way and just started just being grateful and holding a space of love for them, and this is what I talk about in my class, like I just went on and started living my own life, focused on me and stopped helicoptering and just started to realize, like, what, I'm just going to hold an open space of love for anyone who wants to love me. My children, anyone who wants to love me can come in, and I'll let them come to me. And in the meantime, one of the things that I did that's really fun is because I didn't want to kind of be this helicopter person, and I didn't want to always be in their space because I wanted them to come to me. I didn't want to always be there where they had to decide for themselves, and so what I ended up doing was I would just get cards. And maybe like once a month I would write cards. And I was never a sentimental card person, but I became that way. And I started getting cards, and I would just really pick cards for each one of the kids, and I would write something special in it, and I would send it off. And that way I knew I sent my love. They know I love them because I sent it. Now it's up to them to receive it and respond to it. And so I just kept doing that and checking in periodically, or letting them check in with me, and things change. So the conversation that I had with my son yesterday was about I said, I'm so proud of us, because we had a very contentious relationship. We were both fiery, and we just did not have a good relationship when we were growing up. We fought all the time, and it always escalated and stuff. And now we're like best buds, and I'm proud of us because we evolved. So I think I want to end on this note, which is, I think that we have harmony in our life when we're willing to evolve, when we're willing to listen and take things in and not be focused on being the victor, the winner of something. If our goal is harmony and a stronger connection, then we have to be honest, and we have to be willing to evolve, because people feel more comfortable around people who are willing to be vulnerable and say when they're wrong, or reveal truths that maybe don't put them in the best light, like talking about your doubts and things you worry about, like not being seen as interesting enough to merit having a following, right? And all this while I say, I say this when I'm almost at 8,000 students, and because I'm about to cross that threshold and, have a pretty thriving Udemy practice, or, my academy at POBA is worldwide now through Udemy. And so you can be that person and having successes and still having the doubts and the worries about things. And I just feel like you trust people more when they're willing to be vulnerable with you. I don't know. What do you, excuse me, what do you guys think about that? Do you think that's true? It is for me, so talking to my son about this, we both kind of agreed, because we're willing to evolve, and we're willing to not, to listen and to not bring up drama or try and dredge things up, but just to start where we are, and move forward in life. And we were kind of talking about that in relation to the other part of the family that's not speaking to me or to him, and just understanding the personality and the character differences, and the main one being that we are willing to be wrong, and we are willing to listen even when we don't like what's being said, and that we just don't have any tolerance for drama, so as long as you're willing to evolve, you can have that attempt at harmony. But the thing is that you can only have it with someone who wants it. So you can be really open, and you can be this evolving person and be open to listening, and willing to say, hey, if I listen, and even if you don't feel you're wrong, to say at minimum to realize and acknowledge that you hurt somebody, whether it was accidental, maybe they took something a certain way, and in your mind you didn't mean that at all, or it's really just about like being willing to be sorry for hurting someone even when it wasn't intended, right? And that effort is the difference between harmony and not harmony, right? Because at the end of the day, you can't affect a change with someone who's not, if it's one-sided. But you can definitely make the attempt if the communication is there, right? So that's all I wanted to talk about today, is really about just, harmony and evolving, and a little bit of, self-doubt in there, and life is good, So I hope that you have a great day. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're watching this. We meet here daily for a few minutes to talk about certain things. Sometimes I go a little longer, sometimes a little shorter. And let me know that you see that what I do has value. Just hit the like, and you can even make a comment. But at minimum, hit that like bar and subscribe. All right, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.